Here we are, right back in the game for some Snarf
Madness.
Yes, that's right.
We are not canceling Snarf Madness.
We are not canceling this podcast ever.
Snarf Madness doesn't get canceled for pandemics. What else would there be?
Epidemics. Epigenetics.
Yeah. And let's see, what else? Like
Warfare.
definitely not warfare. I'm prepared for warfare. I can podcast and war.
In fact, I think this is our big break, because everybody's going to be holed up inside.
It is.
Nothing to do.
And this is where we promote the podcast and get people to listen. Because what else do you have to do besides cough a lot and listen to Snarf Talk?
Buy toilet paper and listen to Snarf Talk.
Exactly. You should have already filled out your bracket.
But we should address this 1,000-pound elephant in the room because
I didn't really want to talk about it.
They just closed Disney World. They just closed Disneyland.
Didn't they say for 2 weeks, though?
I don't know.
I thought they put a time frame for 2 weeks.
I don't know, but they're canceled. Everything's canceled. NBA's canceled. NCAA's canceled. Every event is canceled. Travel to Europe is canceled for 30 days.
Yeah.
Cargo to Europe is canceled for 30 days.
It's unbelievable.
The economy is crashing. The world as we know it has ended.
Society is over.
I don't know how long we can stay at this teetering edge before there is some sort of a long-term ramifications.
Right. And so far it hasn't, it honestly hasn't affected my daily life as of yet. But they're talking about this
will.
Yeah, they're talking about e-learning for school.
Yeah, they're going to close the schools. You know what's going to happen.
I know. What do people do? What do I do when I go to work? And my wife also goes to work every day.
Yeah.
And we have children at home that have to do schoolwork online.
You're either going to have family members watching them, or you're going to have to take off work.
Yeah.
You're one of these affected people that the government's talking about giving you a payroll freeze.
Yeah, great. Yeah, that sounds wonderful. That's called a furlough.
Tulsi Gabbard released some legislation today to do a temporary universal basic income payment to every adult American.
I back it.
I'll take
let me have
all the kinds of income.
Give me all the incomes.
Universal. I'll take community. Yeah. I'll take community chest.
National. Yeah. What park place?
Yeah, I'll take rent payments. All the income. I'll take it all.
Give me all the incomes that the government will give you, because guess what? The government doesn't like to give up money.
No, it is crazy, though. I mean, like a week ago, there was a lot of talk of this is overblown. It's an overreaction, which it may or may not be. That's an irrelevant point at this point. And it's an overreaction maybe to the health risk.
The severity of the disease, I think, is an overreaction because this is just my opinion. Obviously, I'm not let's see, like a actual like paper holding doctor, something that says like I am a doctor, but we all kind of know I'm a doctor, in my regular day. And I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's like walking pneumonia is what I heard it put as.
Here's the issue, Jerry.
So that in and of itself is like not a good thing. Obviously, the flu of any type and this would be bad to have, and you'll feel terrible for 7 to 10 days. But I just think buying all the toilet paper in the world is a bit of an overreaction.
Well, I'll tell you why it's not an overreaction for the most part, because
the toilet paper?
I don't know why people are doing that.
I don't get it.
I mean, other than what happens is people say, hey, there's going to be a shortage of toilet paper. So everybody runs out and gets toilet paper, and that thus creates the shortage. It's like the chicken and the egg syndrome.
I get that. But even if so the quarantine, they're saying, should be for 14 days because that's how long it takes to be like what's that called? Catchable?
Yeah.
What's
infectious.
That called? Infectious, yeah. That's how long it takes. Like you can be quarantined for 14 days and it's over with. How much toilet paper do people use in 14 days? Do you use like just rolls and rolls?
But say it's
and
2
rolls?
months from now, and if that happens to you, you need enough toilet paper to get you for the next 2 months plus the 14 days.
Holy smokes. People are...
All our toilet paper comes from China. They don't have any shipping going on.
It doesn't all come from China.
It's all Chinese.
If you're buying Chinese toilet paper,
We're buying Chinese.
You
everything.
have an issue.
I'll tell you why I don't think it's so much of an overreaction. Medically, for healthy adults, obviously it's not a big deal.
No.
But you're also very communicable for a long time.
Right.
Before symptoms, during and after for a ways. And it also is, it's about from what I've read, 2 to 3 times more communicable than the seasonal flu. So
Okay.
it spreads a lot easier because it's really airborne and really easy to pass along, so far as we know, with this limited information.
Correct.
So, I mean, there's a lot of old people out there. We all know a lot of old people. You don't want to unknowingly transfer it to old people that are gonna die.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. And that's where it is really serious, is with the older population of the United States. Definitely needs to be like paid attention to.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing here is like, what we can do to stop this is exactly what we're starting to do. And that is like, stay out of large groups, obviously proper hygiene, with like washing your hands and stuff. But like all these things that are being canceled, I agree with. I mean, that's basically the only way to stop the spread of something. And once you stop the spread of it, then you can like get rid of the disease, basically.
I mean, I'm on
time
the fence
and
here
control
because I get it. Like stop unnecessary things, fine, but necessary things you shouldn't. I don't know. Here's the deal. There's really no. We don't know if we can stop it, and we probably can't.
You can diminish the transfer of it with not having
the goal,
whole stadiums full of people.
Yeah, for sure. The goal isn't really to stop the spread of it. As far as I understand it, it's to spread out the healthcare needs over a longer period of time.
Yes, so it's not overwhelming.
I mean, if anything, here's the main risk, I believe, from what I can tell. Quickly, it can overtake our healthcare system in a matter of a week.
It could easily.
And the problem is, if you have all the hospitals full to the brim with coronavirus people, all the other people that like need appendixes,
Right.
Surgery, that live on dialysis, that have serious medical conditions, they all just die because we don't have the capacity to treat all these people.
Right.
So that's an issue. I was reading an article in the New York Post today from a doctor in Italy. And if you don't think this is serious, you need to read this article from this doctor in Italy, where they are basically, hospitals are full, gyms, schools are full, hallways are full, and there's no doctors and there's no nurses. They're
Right.
all the same. There is no paperwork. There is no anything. There is no medical supplies. They don't have any of the things to intubate people.
Oh, man.
And they are going through the hallway and tagging people, and anybody that is, they're not treating. They're having to make decisions quickly about who can be treated and who can't. And the people that they're not triaging they're done.
It reminds me of like World War II triage, where you like look at the person and see how bad their injuries were, and you're just like, nope, you don't get treated. Nope.
Yeah, and that's what's happening. And it's easy to say, hey, it's not a big deal for us, because I don't think there's been any recorded deaths of people under 50. Or very few.
Yeah, I don't think so.
There's a lot of old people in this country.
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean? And the thing is, like, it isn't necessarily, like I said, just about the virus itself. It's about overtaking and overwhelming the healthcare system.
Here's the thing with like a lot of people may think it's an overreaction for the NBA to stop the whole season, postpone the whole season. But the reason for this, I was listening to sports radio today, and they were saying that so the Utah Jazz, like you were talking about last night, the Utah Jazz, Jerry. Yeah, that's the way you put it to me. So the Jazz's center, Rudy Gobert, he has the disease, the virus. And before he found out he had it, he was teasing with the media and like rubbing his hands and stuff on their microphones, like as they were trying to interview him. And apparently the team, like a bunch of teammates, came forward and said he was being just as careless and goofy prior to that with all of their stuff. So he was going to each person's locker and rubbing himself all over their stuff prior to this. And then he found out he had it. And that is absolutely ridiculous to me. what, even if it's a joke, I get it, but that's obviously in a little bit of bad taste at the moment.
Yeah, well, I think that's, in my point, that's all the people that are on Facebook being like, this is ridiculous, this is overreaction. That's what you're doing.
So, yeah.
Like, take it seriously. We're past the point of...
So here's this is why the NBA did what they did, because what they had to look at is, so there was 2 people on the Utah Jazz that contracted the virus, and their center, Rudy Gobert, did all of that stuff to the teammates. Well, then they had to figure out who the Utah Jazz played that night, which was like Atlanta or somebody. But then they had to figure out who Atlanta had played after that or prior to that. And then they started going through the list, and it ended up being every NBA team was on the list that could have possibly contracted it. So they're like, well, I mean, they had no choice but to suspend the season.
Right.
Because everybody was a potential risk. So... I definitely don't blame their decision. That was the smart move, because even if you think another team could have gotten it, it is your absolute fault if they spread it to somebody else, especially an arena full of people.
Right.
Like, that's just not a crowd of
it's
2 or 3 people.
It's just not necessary. Yeah.
It's completely unnecessary, and I think they made the right choice.
I think it's hard to know. It's hard to know what the right choice is. What I do know is it's going to have pretty terrible economic impact. And there's going to be a lot of uncomfortableness over the next 3 months.
Yeah, there really is.
In this country.
And that's sad.
Unless for somehow the tides get turned here. But there's pretty much nobody saying that's going to happen. All the projections from basically every infectious disease expert and every doctor is that this is going to be a widespread.
Here's my question, though, is why doesn't it happen with influenza A or influenza B or whatever the influenza is in the year? Why doesn't that affect society as much as what this is, even though we know it's a severe, illness?
Well, I mean, as far as I understand, and as far as we know, it's more communicable than the seasonal flu. So it's easier to pass, and it's about, I think it was 2 to 3 times easier to transmit.
Okay.
B, it's more deadly than the seasonal flu by per capita or per the numbers they have right now. However, I understand we don't know the accuracy of those numbers because we have no way of knowing the actual cases.
No, we really don't, especially from China.
There might be, and we also, there might be twice as many cases unreported as been reported. If you only report the worst cases, then you're just going to show a higher death rate. But if there's a lot of people that, we haven't really tested it. We've only tested like 4,500 people in this country.
Yeah.
That's crazy low.
Do you think they're going to start like mandatory testing?
That's what they've done in South Korea, and they've had some pretty good results with it. But I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how we're going to have the ability to withstand this economically, but I mean, we will, but we're going to live
America
with it for a while.
will prevail.
Snarf will lead you.
Will lead, and we will prevail. And you know what's going to happen? We're going to continue on with our Snarf Madness, which we should do.
Yeah, March Madness got canceled, but not Snarf Madness.
No, March Madness ain't got shit on Snarf Madness, all right?
That's enough of that. Everybody I know is sick of hearing about it. But,
yes.
It is, honestly, it's something that...
it's something we had to touch on.
It's concerning to me, but not in a level that, it's a panic.
Okay,
but...
real quick. What about kids? Nobody's ever talked about, like, kids getting this.
Yeah, they have. They've talked about it quite a bit.
I haven't seen anything or really looked into it.
They don't appear to get it very much at all. In fact, for the most part, it's just not affecting kids.
Is it?
They're still transmitting the disease, though.
Is it similar? Would it be similar to like an RSV?
No, they're just not even getting symptoms.
Really?
For the most part, yeah. There have been children with cases reported, but it's very rare. For the most part, children can contract it, transmit it, and get almost no symptoms from it. Okay.
Well, that makes me feel a lot better because that's really all I worry about.
Yeah, I mean, but you have a lot of elderly people in your life.
Absolutely.
Parents, grandparents, I mean.
No, I'm not saying I'm not worried about that, but my immediate thought is like, crap, can the kids get this? Because that's what I don't want to deal with.
Yeah. No, for the most part, if you're under 50 or 60 and healthy, you really don't have anything to worry about it from the virus. I mean, you're going to be way more affected by the economic impact and by the closures and the fact that your kids, if you have kids, their school's probably going to get shut down.
Yeah.
My niece goes to Duke. They just got shut down for the rest of the year. My nephew goes to U of I. They're extending spring break, and there's a pretty good chance they're not coming back.
Yeah.
And, we've
Crazy.
already, both our high school and where our kids go to school, have already said they're preparing online classes.
Yes.
I don't know if we'll get to the point where they're going to shut down rural schools. I mean, we're not massively affected. At some point, right, once this gets past the point where everybody has this false belief that we can contain it,
Yes.
everybody's going to have to go back to their normal life and just live with the fact that a lot of people are going to die.
That's insane
But,
to think about. But
I mean,
yeah, that's what it is.
It's a disease. I mean, it is what it is,
Yeah,
right? We can't continue to live completely shut down once we're past the point of containment.
Right. Oh, and we are past the point of containment. It's already spread across
Obviously not.
114 or 15 countries.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess the thought right now, there's kind of like containment, but also slowing the healthcare curve of, I don't know if you've seen that graph that's going around, but
I don't think I have. I haven't been paying much attention to it because I've never really thought about it.
It's like with shutdowns, the goal is really just to lengthen and shorten the spikes in
Recently, I felt like you've been becoming a doomsday prepper.
No, I have not prepped anything. I haven't bought anything. In fact, we're basically out of food and every good in our house.
Oh, okay. Well, good thing you farm. You can just grow
The
it.
really only thing I've thought about doing is buying fuel
Well, that's a good idea.
for the farm, because I don't know.
Right. Still got a plant.
Yeah. So if I can get my fuel and like my seed and stuff, like I'm good. I don't have to see anybody in my life.
Right. Well, except for me.
Yeah, except for Snarf. Snarf for the podcast, I don't have to see anybody except for my family.
Right.
I can do my job without
without ever getting
interruption.
involved with anyone.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a perfect life.
Yeah. It's gonna suck when school gets shut down, but
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, let's start the second phase of round one for Snarf Madness. If you didn't listen last week, shame on you. But we did the left side of the bracket first. We split the first round into 2 weeks because there's a lot of names. There's a lot of people.
yeah. So we did the East and West last week.
Yes, we are on to South and Midwest.
South and Midwest. And also, guys, if you didn't listen last week and this is your first time, maybe you don't even know what's going on, you can stop the podcast right now. You can fill out a bracket and we'll still let you send it in as long as you just, you like promise that you haven't cheated.
Which we will easily be able to tell, really, because
Correct.
if you get all of them right, you will be thrown in the garbage.
And we also don't have any scoring updates because A, we probably should wait till after the first round's complete. But B, I don't even know that we're going to do that because it's a lot of work.
Well, I mean, we have to score them.
Well, we're going to score them at the end. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, are we going to do weekly updates, like leaderboard things?
I mean, just each round. Why don't we do it
Okay.
each round? When we finish a round.
We haven't finished this round.
So when we finish round one, next week we'll say, like, hey, here's who's leading round one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, what did you think about this side of the bracket?
This was a difficult one, I think. There was a lot of people I would want to get into the second round, but
See, this one for me, this side was way easier than the other side.
really,
Yeah.
not so much.
There was
for me.
probably 4 or 5 matchups in the last side that I struggled with. This side, I didn't think I struggled with barely any.
Yeah, there was like 4.
I'm a man of conviction, Jerry.
There was about 4 or 5 that I struggled with this time, but I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. I guess. So first bracket is Shazam versus the Silver Surfer. Chris.
Shazam. So this is like Zach Levi Shazam, right?
Right, which used to be called Captain
Marvel.
Marvel.
Okay. This one for me is one of the easy ones because it is Silver Surfer all the way for me.
Nice.
I've been a huge fan of the Silver Surfer my whole life. I like always love whenever the Silver Surfer comes up as a guest in anything.
Yeah.
Whether it be comics or cartoons or anything. And I just think it's a super cool, interesting character that I've always liked. Shazam, I pretty much had zero familiarity with until that movie, which was a great movie.
It was really good.
And then also there's an animated Superman versus Shazam movie. That's pretty good.
Yes, I watched that.
Yeah. So, but for me, yeah, it's easy. Silver Surfer all day.
Okay. That doesn't surprise me. You're a Marvel guy, and I know you like the Fantastic Four too. Maybe that'll come up later.
We'll see.
I went with Shazam
Ooh,
because
because you're a DC whore.
I am a DC whore, and I honestly like Shazam better than Superman. I don't have a fondness for Superman all that much. I like Shazam's character better. I too did not really have any idea about Shazam until the movie, but I took a little bit of a deep dive into his world when the movie came out. After I saw the movie,
Have you read any comics?
I did. I went back
wow.
and read some of the comics from the 90s, and then there were some in the 2000s that I have heard that were really good. I enjoyed them. I've read about his backstory quite a bit. I've never done that with Silver Surfer. I saw him in the movie.
Yeah.
That was it. Didn't really catch me in the movie.
He's a herald of Galactus.
Yeah.
Enslaved.
I heard. Yep. I heard about that. And he surfs the silver.
Yeah, I don't know. I always like the Silver Surfer, but yeah, it could go either way, really. For me, I mean, I did like that one movie. Answer me one question, since you have more knowledge of Shazam than I do.
Yes.
It was my understanding that Shazam is there's a child,
Correct.
Billy Batson.
Billy
when
Batson.
he says Shazam, he turns into Shazam. Mm-hmm. All right, but in my understanding is in the comics, they're two separate individuals.
So
Billy Batson is one individual, and Shazam appears but as a completely different individual.
no, it's opposite of that. So that's the way they kind of portray it in the movie. They portray it as like Billy Batson is Shazam, like he's within the character. In the comic books, at least the ones that I've read, I haven't read all of them, and what I've read about Shazam, when Billy Batson says Shazam, he turns into Shazam. Billy Batson is no more.
That's what I mean. That's why I said
exist.
in the comics they're two separate individuals.
Oh yes, yeah.
But in the movie they didn't do that.
No, they didn't. He does not exist. Shazam is his own complete person, but Billy Batson is not a physical person anymore. He disappears. Shazam comes about, does his thing, and then if he says his name again, Billy Batson appears.
Do you know what the acronym Shazam stands for?
I do, and I can't. I'm never gonna say it on right now. It's
the Greek
speed.
No.
It's all the Greek
strength of
strength of Hercules.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah,
Something of Zeus.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it is, and they changed that midway through this character's run because Captain Marvel and Marvel was an issue. So they got rid of the whole Captain Marvel in DC.
Shazam stands for Solomon. I think it's the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, it just says the people: Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, Mercury.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah. No, I'd be interested to get more into the character for sure.
I thought it was really good. There's some really good stories of him.
I like Zach Levi.
He's very good. Levi.
I like
Zachary
Chuck.
Levi.
I was a big
Chuck's
Chuck
a very
fan.
good show. It's like an incredible show.
Yeah. Whatever happened to the girl that was in Chuck? Because I was a big fan of hers.
I'd have to look her up.
Yeah. All right. Our second matchup here is Spawn versus Harry Potter.
You're a wizard, Harry. You're a hairy wizard.
Why don't you go ahead and go first?
This is easy for me. I picked Spawn.
Really?
I'm not a Harry Potter fan. Never have been. I know they're good movies. I get it. And I've heard the books are absolutely amazing.
This is like the one because every other one in here is a comic book character. I'm not sure about Harry Potter.
They changed the world.
He's a literary character.
He is, but
I'm sure there's a Harry Potter comic book, right?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
I would assume so.
Anyway,
if they aren't capitalizing on that market, they're stupid.
You can wax poetic about Spawn now.
Yes. So Spawn, I really enjoy. The first incarnation that I had ever seen of Spawn was the movie in the 90s. I believe it was 97 or 96.
Was it Michael Jai White?
Yes, Michael Jai White. And
John Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo was the clown.
Yeah.
Or what was he turned into the it starts with a V.
The Vindicator, or no?
Yeah, it's something like that. Vindicator or Velociraptor.
Yeah, he turns into a velociraptor.
Yeah. It's a really cool monster, though. I think it looks amazing. I love the story of Spawn. I really like it. I think
The Violator.
Violator, that's what it is. So when I was a kid, I had the whole back alley setup of Spawn that came out with the movie. I had the characters, and there was a little elevator you could, pick the characters up with. That was fun. And you got little garbage cans you could knock over with your toys. I loved it. I played with those Spawn characters forever. I had the big Violator. I had the little clown. Obviously, I had Spawn.
Speaking of that, they have Spawn toys from the 90s in the packages. There's one, anyway, at the flea market in Mazan for like $1.
Really?
Yeah.
I should go get those.
It's just one. There's one. It's like a monster.
But then the art that is in these comic books is like above all else.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. He's just drawn so vividly and intense to me. I love those dark, intense, brooding type characters.
Yeah.
And that's Spawn. He's crazy. I'm not a big horror fan, but I don't necessarily consider all of it horror.
No.
He's just awesome to me. I think he's just an awesome character.
I mean, I love Spawn as well. Todd McFarlane.
Just amazing.
Creation. He was.
Have you watched him on Instagram?
Oh yeah.
He has Instagram TV where he'll just sit there and draw on his computer. It's all digital art, but gosh, it's amazing to watch him.
And he's one of the greatest comic book artists of all time. I mean, a hugely popular before Spawn for Spider-Man.
Yep.
And he draws on Spider-Man's style a lot in Spawn. You can tell it's similar. Mm-hmm. In fact, so similar. I think the Spawn 300 cover recently that came out was it was literally
like
the
a remake of the
Spider-Man Amazing
one.
Spider-Man 300 cover.
Yeah.
It was really cool. But yeah, it's a great character. I love he's Hell Spawn, right? So I love the hell aspect to it.
Yeah, so he sold his soul. He burnt to death and sold his soul to the devil to do his bidding, and he doesn't really He always rebels.
So I mean, it's amazing. He was at the birth of Image Comics, one of the greatest things that ever happened to comic books.
Yes,
and he's the only surviving original book, right?
That's it.
And
That's
one
the
of
only one,
and the longest running Image book, and a very long running title in general. So I love Spawn. My favorite probably iteration of that would be the animated show. I think it was either on HBO.
Yeah, shoot, I forgot about that.
It was either on HBO or MTV, one of those two.
And that came early 2000s.
Yeah, early 2000s. Yeah. But for me, this one's easy. I gotta go Harry Potter all day long.
I figured.
Gotta give it to the Harry Potter man.
No, you don't.
Yeah. No, I know you are. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I've read all the books. I love the books.
Yeah.
I love the movies. I love everything about it. I have Harry Potter underwear.
Do you have your own, what is that thing called? Staff?
A wand.
Wand. That's what it's called.
I don't have a wand yet. I'm waiting until I go
You didn't get a wand?
Until I go to Universal Studios and get a real one.
I thought weren't you just there?
Ollivander's wand shop.
You never went to the whole Harry Potter
Not yet.
world?
No, I haven't gone yet. And I can't wait to go. And I'm not going to go buy some wand, because if I go there, the wand chooses the wizard.
What kind of fan are you?
The wand chooses the wizard.
I know. That's what I hear. That's what they tell me.
No, I'm a huge fan. I can't not go with. I'm a fan of Spawn, but not even.
No,
it's
I
not
get
even
it.
in the same realm of universe for me.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't read Spawn. I don't think to this date I've ever read a Spawn comic.
No, you never have.
I have a couple that I bought because the covers were cool, but I've never really read them.
Give me them.
Okay.
All right. Thanks. Next one, The Incredibles versus Rorschach. If you're not familiar with Rorschach, he is the weird face guy in The Watchmen. Yes,
Probably the main character.
he is. This is the one that I had a difficult pick here.
Okay.
I love both characters.
Well, we can start with me. This one was easy for me. Rorschach for me.
Really?
Yes.
That surprises me.
I love The Incredibles, but at the end of the day, I mean, for me, I mean, The Watchmen was one of the most impactful comic books of all time that I've ever read. Had a huge impact on me. And unlike previously on the other side, no, we did Dr. Manhattan. That's not a character that really reached out at me too much. But Rorschach being kind of the main character of the book, to an extent, I guess, I don't know if you could say that fully, but
I mean, he kind of is.
You definitely feel more connected to him as a character. And I also love the iteration of Rorschach from the Zack Snyder movie, and the guy who plays him.
Yes.
Fantastic.
It is awesome.
Yeah. So for me, that's where I went.
I'm looking up some quotes real quick. Hang on a second.
Some quotes from Rorschach?
Yes, because I also picked Rorschach.
Oh, wow. I did not expect that at all from you.
Really?
No, I for sure thought you were going Incredibles.
I absolutely love Incredibles, and that's why it was really hard for me. But, man, this dirty, grimy dude just gets me. I don't know why. I have nothing to relate to him. But I need to find that quote. There is a quote that he has in the movie that I've just always loved. And it's like, he talks about like, the people will scream for help and I'll say, no.
Yeah.
And I love it. He's like sitting in a window sill, and just that dude that plays that character really brought him to life. Like, he took who was inside of those books and legitimately brought him to life. I don't know why anybody like shits on that movie, because I think it's good. I know they skipped some things out of the book, but how can you like legitimately take The Watchmen and put it into a movie that isn't 6 hours long?
Right.
You can't do it. I think they condensed it well, and I think out of all of them, the Rorschach character is like spot on.
It's the epitome of the book. First off, I mean, that is the theme, the tone of the book. It's the best character. He's got the best lines. It's and all the whores and politicians will look up and shout, "Save us!"
Yeah,
and I'll look down and whisper,
"No." Yeah, but the way he says it, like his evil growl,
it's just a great character. Good. It's just the best.
It is. So we both picked Rorschach on that one. Okay. Yeah. Honestly, I thought you were going to go Incredibles too. I didn't think you'd pick Rorschach because you're not the dirty, grimy, like doom and gloom guy.
But that reminds me of a meme I saw today.
Okay.
I got a meme that was something about if you've ever been to this place, you don't have to worry about coronavirus, and it's a picture of the lamplighter sign from.
They've been doing that a lot in Joliet too with the cellar. There's the cellar that's right off 53.
Yeah. Oh, I know about it. I've been there.
No way. Have you really?
I've been everywhere. Jeez. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere.
Don't brag about that.
Anyway, no, The Incredibles. I like The Incredibles a lot. They always say it's the best Fantastic Four story ever told. I take exception to that, but
you do. I agree with it. Brad Bird nailed it.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on.
Okay, the next one is Wolverine and Hawkeye.
Yeah, this is the hardest one for me in the world.
Well, I know that's a joke.
Yeah, I know we both picked Wolverine.
We absolutely both picked Wolverine. If you didn't pick Wolverine, I don't want to ever see you or speak to you again.
Yeah, Wolverine. I mean, first of all, I don't have a huge. My biggest and best. I'll start with Hawkeye. My biggest and best experience with Hawkeye has been on the Matt Fraction comic book run, which I'm going to tell you right now is absolutely unbelievable.
Right.
It's an unbelievably good book, and not for the reasons why you think it's great. It's not even really. It's like a genre bending, right? So it's not really a superhero story. It's more just about this dude that happens to be, I wouldn't even say superhero, but a hero.
No, like involved with heroes.
Yeah, living like his normal life. It's just a great book. I definitely recommend anyone. It's probably one of my top picks for new readers. Definitely check it out. But I mean, Wolverine is, if you notice on the Snarf stickers or logos, we have a little stamp in the corner. It says 181.
181.
This is a reference to
Incredible
Hulk 181, which is to be the first appearance of Wolverine. So I'm a big fan of the character.
That's a little inside baseball. Maybe that'll be a trivia question that we could give an award to.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea.
Prize to.
All the best stories have been written about Wolverine.
Wolverine gets the best writers. He gets the best stories. He gets the best artists. And that character is amazing.
Yeah.
And he's got huge backstory, like huge, incredible
and
backstory.
all the iterations. I mean, from Old Man Logan to Savage Wolverine to, the X-Men comics.
And just that
he's been done every single way.
Yeah, absolutely he has. And there's that one story I think it's just called Wolverine, right? Where he's in Japan.
Oh,
with the lady.
Is it? Yes.
Isn't it just Wolverine? It's just a one story.
It was by Frank Miller, right?
Yeah, it's just a one shot. And gosh, that's
it's a graphic novel. I have
that's
graphic novel.
I have it on Comixology.
Unbelievable. I think a lot of the movie, though, Wolverine was based on that comic.
It was. You could tell. It didn't encompass it the way I would have liked.
It's different,
but gosh, that book is unbelievable. But Old Man Logan,
it's really good too.
Come on, man. Old Man Logan.
If you don't know, the movie Logan was based, which is the best Wolverine movie probably
by far,
was based on Old Man Logan, the comic book series, loosely, kind of.
They didn't go with like any, hillbilly baby Hulks or anything.
Another main character in that is Hawkeye.
Yes,
and
Hawkeye is.
The interaction between Wolverine and Hawkeye is unbelievable. So check out really Old Man Logan. I would say another great comic for new readers.
It really is. Also, why I love him is because he's short. He's like 5'3" in the comic books. You can't portray that in the movies. I get it. Nobody wants to see like a 5-foot little gremlin running around and clawing people. But
even though Hugh Jackman is like 6'2".
I know. That's what I'm saying. They've portrayed him as a larger person when he is not. He's actually a very short mutant.
Almost, I think Bob Hoskins
that was like
was
a fan
supposed to play him. In 1989, an X-Men movie was in the works, and they wanted to get Bob Hoskins, and he would be interesting.
Yeah, stick with Roger Rabbit.
There was talks of Mel Gibson at one time, Keanu Reeves at one time, all different kind of people. But we'll see how it goes. They're gonna obviously have a new Wolverine someday.
They already said, Kevin Feige already said that they're gonna have a Wolverine.
Yeah, so as soon as they can get, they will have a new Wolverine as soon as they can get enough money together to pay Viggo Mortensen to do it.
That would be sweet. I love Viggo Mortensen.
He's getting a little old, though.
Who cares?
It's hard to envision anybody other than Hugh Jackman.
It really is. And
he has played that character, 12, 15 times? I mean, an unbelievable amount of times.
I don't know if I want a really young Wolverine.
No, there isn't really such a thing.
That's what I mean. I don't think I want a young character to play him.
I say Wolverine's got to be in his, 50s?
Yes,
40s?
perpetually.
40s, maybe?
Yeah, all the time.
I'm sure Hugh Jackman was probably in his early 40s when he started playing that character.
Yeah, now he's like 60, isn't he?
I don't know. So that's a good one, easy one.
Okay, so the next one is Moon Knight and Martian Manhunter.
Yeah,
Moon Knight and Martian Manhunter. So I just recently started. I read a couple Martian Manhunter books, and I started looking into him a lot and seeing what he was about, because I haven't ever been a huge Martian Manhunter fan by any means. He's been involved with the Justice League for a long time and things like that. He's a pretty main character in the DC world. Good old, what's his name? John Jones.
And one of the most powerful.
He's so incredibly powerful. And normally I would go for that, but Moon Knight, man, that's who I picked. That character is amazing. I want to be involved with everything Moon Knight does. I think the story is really cool. How he gets possessed. And I think they end up putting him in a suit at one point, just an all white suit with a white mask, but it's almost like a tied back bandana. Kind of looks like a cholo. And I love it. I love everything about it. He's dark, doomy, gloomy. He's like the Batman-esque character of Marvel. And yeah, I like him way better than Martian Manhunter. Martian Manhunter doesn't stand out to me. I know he's a really good character. I know he's had a really good story. I'm just a Moon Knight guy. Yeah.
I mean, I don't have ultimately huge familiarity with either. character, I would say, to an extreme amount. I probably have I've read more and seen more of Martian Manhunter over the years, just because he is such a prominent character
Yes.
in the Justice League for the most part. It's a really cool character, just not one that's ever really interested me all that much.
Yeah.
Moon Knight, on the other hand, which I haven't read a ton of Moon Knight, but I've read quite a bit. I used to collect it back when I was in college.
Yep. And we've been looking for it.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't at C2E2, but we should have. That's your fault.
It's a great, fun character. It hasn't probably had, I don't know if it's had the amount of stories that Martian Manhunter's had, but
Oh, no, not by any means, I don't think. But listen up. If you are going to collect Martian Manhunter, you need to do it now before the show comes out.
you mean Moon Knight?
Or yeah, a Moon Knight. If you're going to be a Moon Knight collector,
It's probably past
and
that
fan,
time.
Really? You think so?
Yeah.
I think now is your only opportunity to start grabbing
I've been
them
trying
books.
to buy that book.
Werewolf by Night?
Yeah, 52, right?
Yeah.
The first appearance of Moon Knight. I've been trying to buy that for about 5 years.
Oh, yeah. No, I know that book you're not going to get, but there are other Moon Knight books that you could snag before that show comes out that are going to go through the roof.
But it is basically Marvel's straight up ripoff of Batman.
Yeah,
That's how it started.
And there's a different backstory with him, but
Yeah, he's kind of got multiple personality disorder.
Correct.
He's a rich billionaire who
correct.
dresses up by night, but he kind of changes his persona, and everything
Yeah.
about him kind of changes, and he actually has some powers, unlike Batman. So,
Yeah.
great character. I'm going with Moon Knight too, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I went with Moon Knight as well, just because it is such a badass character.
He really is.
The look and the art and the books is great, and
I was trying to be him for Halloween last year,
that'd be
and
cool.
I couldn't find any. I was going to make a costume because it really wouldn't be that hard, and I was looking it up at what people have done. I just didn't. I always prepare for Halloween about the day before Halloween,
yeah,
and I just didn't have time to put anything together. So
I didn't either. I was busy with the coronavirus and stuff.
last
Halloween.
October.
Yeah, I was way ahead of the curve.
Wow.
All right,
Wow.
our next one,
Nightwing, Green Arrow.
a bit of a biggie.
It is a biggie for you, maybe.
I mean, no, I know what I'm doing. So you go ahead and
You
go
do?
first.
Okay. I'm not a big Green Arrow fan, but I love me a Nightwing. I think Nightwing's an incredible character. I've read a lot of Nightwing. I like his suit a lot better. I don't care about bows and arrows. Okay? Do you understand me?
Apparently,
I literally just haven't been a Green Arrow fan as much, and I think that's why I haven't taken to the show. It just, as silly as it sounds, because you talk about superheroes and their powers and whatnot, I think it's silly to shoot a bow at people. Like, I just think it's silly. That's why I don't really care for Hawkeye that much either.
there's so much you can do with a bow that you can't do with a gun, though.
I don't like. I mean, I don't think superheroes should use guns either. None
Trick
of them really
arrows. Come on.
do. I know. I just don't. It's just not my thing. You know, I want a superhero to be to have like physical altercation and not shoot people.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my thing. So Nightwing. I mean, Nightwing throws stuff at you, but
Yeah, he's got batons.
yeah, but he's beating the crap out of you.
Yeah, he's a
He's
brawler.
just, bludgeoning you to
Old
death.
Dick Grayson.
Gold Dick. Yeah, come get it, Dick. Grayson.
I also went with Nightwing here. I'm
You
a
did?
huge Nightwing fan. Always have been.
I didn't think you would be.
No, I've always been a huge Nightwing fan.
I guess I didn't know that.
It's probably one of my favorite DC characters. I've read a lot of Nightwing. I've read a lot of Nightwing in Batman, but I've also read a lot of standalone Nightwing.
I love the interactions between Nightwing and Batman.
Absolutely. I will say out of the gate, though, and we've talked about this a little bit before, Dick Grayson is not my favorite Robin by a long stretch.
Right.
But he's a way better Nightwing, and he knows that, and that's why he's Nightwing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And he has been Batman, too.
He has been Batman.
My favorite iteration of Nightwing, oh, man, that's hard to say. I don't even know. I don't know. But he's really fun to play in the Arkham games.
Oh, he's incredible to play in the
Yeah.
Arkham games. Those games,
He's
in
very
general, are, like,
acrobatic,
the best.
and he's a brawler.
Yes.
Green Arrow, also a character I love. I love the show Arrow. It's my favorite of the CW shows. I also absolutely love the Kevin Smith graphic novel Quiver. and I would highly recommend everybody read that. It's what reborn or rebirthed the character of Green Arrow, literally brought it from the ashes to prominency. But he's never going to stand up to Nightwing. No way. And I really want to watch Titans on DC app, but I haven't watched much of it.
Oh yeah, I've never watched any.
I've watched
of it,
a couple
actually.
episodes, but
Fudge Batman.
so is Dick Grayson your favorite Robin?
Didn't we talk about that?
Yeah, but I don't remember.
Who did I pick? No, didn't I pick? I was being argumentative, I think.
Did you pick Jason Todd?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at the time I picked Jason
Nobody
Todd.
likes Jason Todd.
I mean, I do like the character Jason Todd. I think it's fun.
Man. I would say Damian Wayne or Tim Drake. All right.
Yeah, Damian Wayne would probably be by far the best, I think.
He likes to get stabby with people.
Doesn't he?
Our next matchup here is Hellboy versus Captain Marvel.
So this one, I think I'm going to throw some people for a loop here.
Okay.
What'd you pick?
I went with Hellboy. I've always been a big fan of Hellboy, the movies and the comic books. I love anything about hell, except for Spawn, obviously. No, I do like Spawn too. I like hell, and I also like things that are about that.
Yeah.
Demons, things like that.
Yes.
But I also like the aspect of that show that the comics and of the movies that are very like, I don't want to say steampunkish, but they got a certain visual style to them that I really think is awesome. And Mike Mignola is a freaking genius.
Yes, he is.
So I'm a big fan of Hellboy. That's what I went with.
I too went with Hellboy.
Why would it?
No,
you were trying to throw us for a loop about throwing us for a loop.
I was. See that Inception loop.
I don't know that much about Captain Marvel, to be honest. Other than the movie, which I wasn't a huge fan of.
Yeah, I mean, I like that character. I think she can be really great. She's very powerful. That's awesome.
I haven't kept up on the comics, but apparently, is it Kelly Sue DeConnick?
Yes, she's right now. Apparently, Captain Marvel is what you need to be reading.
Well,
I talked about it a little bit.
And since about 2012, right? When they kind of had rebooted the character back then.
Yeah, but it's completely different right now because she's not necessarily good anymore.
Right.
Because she's been possessed by an otherworldly thing.
Of course.
You know, it's kind of like the Dark Phoenix, but it's not Dark Phoenix. Or like Phoenix Force is what I meant. Anyway. Yeah, Hellboy, such a better character. I love those movies. I didn't care for the newest movie that came out, and I honestly haven't read a ton of comic books about him. I have read some. I've seen a lot of them. I just think the character is awesome. What's his name? Ron Perlman. Yeah, I was thinking of Neil Peart instead of Ron Perlman, but yeah, the drummer from Rush is also Hellboy. Ron Perlman was literally born to be Hellboy. Don't you think?
Yeah.
I think he's incredible.
Yeah, he's good. For me, it goes back to the comics. I have read a lot of Hellboy comics. I like the movies, mostly because of Guillermo del Toro and his visual style. But the comics they're so inventive and they're so imaginative that I really enjoy it. It's very also probably great comics for new readers. If you like,
I would agree.
If you like darker type things, monsters, things like that, you would love Hellboy.
Who doesn't love a good monster?
A monster story.
It was a mash.
It was a monster mash.
It was a mash.
It was a monster.
It was a graveyard smash.
I don't know this.
You don't? Oh man, I could sing the whole thing.
All right, let's go to the next one.
Big one.
Rick. You can't protect her, Rick.
No, you skipped one. The biggest one on the screen.
Oh, I missed it. Batman versus John Constantine. I tried to do it with a British accent.
That's terrible. No, that was not good. Man, I really like John Constantine.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everybody knows we both picked Batman here, but I want to say John Constantine is one of my favorite characters in all of comic books. I absolutely love it. Aforementioned, I talked about liking demons and hell, anything to do with like angels and demons and those worlds
Oh, my.
fighting, and John Constantine is amazing.
He's at the forefront of fighting a demon.
He is literally one of my favorite comic book characters of all time, and it sucks that he has to go up against Batman.
It really does.
But he did.
He did go against him. Yeah, like you said, the character's awesome. He peeks his nose in with Daredevil in the new run
Oh, really?
a little bit, which was cool.
He's great with Swamp Thing. He's great in what's that movie? The DC Dark movie, Justice League Dark.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then
I
of course,
I didn't know you were talking about animated.
of course, the Keanu Reeves movie.
I love it.
Yeah, and I did watch some of the show, but I haven't seen all of it.
I never did watch it, but apparently a lot of people liked it because there was like a big petition to get it back.
People like that show,
and it did come back. So,
yeah, and
really
they're still making movies with that same guy, like made for TV type movies.
Yeah, didn't he do something? Did he get into Preacher at all?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, I guess they wouldn't be together. I thought he made a.
He did make some cameos on other shows.
Yeah, he made cameos on a lot of
other
shows.
CW shows.
Okay.
I think. Anyway,
Yes,
great character. Batman wins that.
Obviously, if you've listened to this show at all, you know I'm absolutely obsessed with Batman. If I could, I would leave my life and become him.
Yeah.
Or if I found a man that was like Batman, I'd probably just live with him. I'd let him wrap his big arms around me and I'd touch his cowl. I just would love it. I'd love to be around him.
Let me give you this difficult proposition here. What's your favorite iteration of Batman?
Oh my gosh. How do I nail that down?
You can only pick one.
I can pick one.
One, your favorite iteration.
I can't do that right now.
Just
You're putting me on the
go,
spot.
Go. You got to go. You got to do it.
I got to do it.
What's the first thing that crosses your mind?
The first thing that crosses my mind is death in the family.
Okay. The death in the family.
The death of the family.
Which one? The first one or the new one?
The new one.
Okay.
Death of the family.
Okay. It's weird. I mean, this changes all the time, by the way.
It constantly changes, but then again, death in the family is also really good.
Yeah, my favorite iteration probably still has to be Court of Owls. It's just such a good run.
I mean, yeah. Court of Owls.
Or we can just say the whole Scott Snyder run. How about that?
It's the same. It's
Snyder
the same
run.
Batman.
Right,
so.
it's the same Batman. So that is my favorite iteration. Yeah, of course, I love
Court of Owls too,
Dark Knight
but
Returns.
I just love the Joker so much. So that Batman working, against the Joker and thinking that he's killing basically his family, the only family that he has, and oh my gosh,
I also love Year One.
It gets me. Yeah, Year One's
One's
amazing.
really. All right, so that one's Batman. So we were basically agreement on everything on that South bracket except for Harry Potter and Spawn.
Yeah. Yep.
Man, this is getting crazy.
It is getting crazy, isn't it? You told me we were going to be wildly different on this side.
I hope we don't have the same freaking brackets.
No,
basically.
we don't already. We're already different.
All right, our next matchup, we're down to the Midwest. We got
Get Protector Rick.
Rick Grimes
From The Walking Dead.
versus the Atom,
The Atom.
played by Brandon Routh on the show.
Routh.
Are you just going to say everything I say?
Yes.
Played by Brandon Routh on DC Legends of Tomorrow. If that's probably,
He was also Superman.
yeah, and probably where most people are familiar from him. But a long run in the comics that I don't know that much about, to be honest. But there is one great book, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But the Atom defeats Darkseid.
Yes, and he goes in his ear.
Yeah, he goes inside of his head, his brain, and actually talks to him from the inside, and then he expands out, right? And
Yes, but he gets in his ear, and you don't know what he says to him, or he says something about like, "Do you fear death?"
No,
Isn't
he is having a conversation with death, right?
Yes,
And
Darkseid is.
No. The Atom is before he. Oh yeah,
No,
somebody is.
I know it's confusing. We'll have to look it up.
We'll look it up and get back to you because it's really cool. I have the book in my house.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I have the book. I've
Let
read
me
it.
have it.
Okay. It's a graphic novel. And Well, it's a trade paperback.
Okay.
Anyway, he asks Death a question before he dies.
That's right.
And you don't get the answer to it. You don't know what the question is.
Yeah, Darkseid finds out that the Atom is inside of him already because they were having a battle. And and Death...
It isn't Darkseid that has the conversation. It's the Atom that has the conversation with Death.
But the Atom's not dying.
Well, he must have died. I don't know. I don't know, bud. I don't know.
No, I think it's Darkseid. Look it up. We have to figure this out because it's such a great story. And
we'll figure it out for next week because we don't have time. So,
all right. So
my pick was Rick Grimes, The Walking Dead.
Rick Grimes. Coral. I was gonna say you can't protect him, Coral. Yeah. Okay.
I love Rick Grimes from the comics. I've read that comic since basically the beginning. I wish I had Walking Dead #1, which is worth like $10,000, but I don't. But I love that character from the comics. I love that character from the TV show. My favorite iteration probably would be the comics, although they're very similar,
right,
and divergent at times. The Atom, I just don't really have a history enough with. I mean, I've lived with Rick Grimes in my life for 15 years.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't know anything about the Atom, so other than he's a knockoff Ant-Man.
So this was super hard for me because I don't really care for either of them.
You can protect her, Rick.
I don't like The Walking Dead.
Have you read the comics?
I have never read a single comic.
That's the problem.
I agree with you. I've never read a single comic. I used to be into zombies. I used to be into it and that story.
It's not about zombies. It's about humans.
I get it. I know. We don't need to get into it. I just I've never read a book of Walking Dead, and I just wasn't a huge fan of the show after the 3rd season. And I just don't, honestly, on the show, I didn't really care for Rick. So I went with the Atom.
There you go.
And only because of that story of him going in his ear and killing him and talking to Death. That single story is what sticks out in my mind about the Atom. I think he is a fun character on Legends of Tomorrow. I like Brandon Routh portraying him. It is a big ripoff of Ant-Man, but...
Or maybe it's the other way around. I don't know.
I think it actually is the other way around, I think. But I'm not sure. But I haven't read much about the Atom either. So it was two unpopular picks for me. But that's the way the bracket goes, So I picked the Atom.
Them's the way the cookie crumbles.
Mm-hmm. Next one. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus the Ghostbusters.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Who
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Who you gonna call?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Ghostbusters.
Shell. Turtle power. Well, this is a difficult one because I'm a huge fan of both.
You are, aren't you?
And I've been a huge fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles since I was a young child, a young lad. I had the sheets.
TMNT. We saw a man at C2E2 that I have a picture of, and I will throw it up, of the sheets that Chris, the legitimate sheets.
Yeah, like
Chris
the 1988 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sheets that everybody had.
Chris gave him his sheets, and the man made a T-shirt.
This guy had made a button-down collared shirt out of those sheets.
Yeah, it was incredible. I have a picture. I'll throw it on social media. So you guys can see it, but it's an unbelievable shirt.
Yeah.
And whoever made it for him, maybe he made it on his own. I don't know. But maybe they made a shirt.
They probably did.
I don't know.
It was a popular bedding set.
It was a pretty incredible shirt. And Chris lost it over it.
Well, I loved the cartoon when I was a kid. I loved the movies as I grew up. I didn't watch the new Michael Bay ones.
No, I did watch one of them.
I watched some of the cartoons now, and they're very good.
Yeah.
I haven't read a ton of comics, but I've read some. But I'm a huge fan overall of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, always have been. But I'm also a huge fan of Ghostbusters, and I always have been. I loved both the cartoons, the real Ghostbusters and Extreme Ghostbusters. and I absolutely love the movies. And for me, I went with Ghostbusters
You
all day
did?
long. Yeah,
All day long, you say?
not even close.
Oh my gosh. I did not go with Ghostbusters. I went with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Really?
Oh yeah, I'm a way bigger fan of the Turtles than I am Ghostbusters. I like Ghostbusters. I think it's great. I love the movies, but I've never read a comic of them. I did watch the cartoon. But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I've read comic books of them. I've read the recent, not all of it, but I have read the recent run of Batman and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover.
Yeah, and there's a animated movie too.
And I haven't seen the movie yet, but I need to get in it.
There's
I've always been.
there's a crossover comic running right now, I believe. That's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Ghostbusters.
Oh, that I didn't know.
Yeah.
But I've just loved them. I love the movies as a kid. I just rewatched those movies all over again from the 90s.
They're
I
fun.
still love them.
They're fun. They're great movies.
They're incredibly fun.
I think my favorite part of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is that it's like a, I don't want to say parody,
It is kind of.
but it's like they took so
it's
many elements from Daredevil when they wrote the comic.
Yes.
Eastman and Laird wrote the comic literally in their garage because
Right.
it was an indie comic that they printed in their garage.
I was a huge fan of the video game too.
Oh yeah, I got that video.
I played-
game on an arcade game.
Yes.
It's going to be in our podcast studio pretty soon.
I've played the arcade game, but I played the Game Boy version of TMNT
There was a bunch of them.
so much.
Was it the one where you walk around in the streets and then go down?
Yes.
And yeah, that was the
And fight everything, and the rats would come at you, and then
yeah,
you'd
that was the
fight
first
foot.
one I think.
And then you Rocksteady and Bebop you had to fight, and Shredder obviously towards the end, and then Crane,
Krang.
Gosh, I just loved that. I played hours and hours of that game on a Game Boy forever. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
There's also a really fun Ghostbusters video game too.
Never played it.
All right, so we diverge.
We did.
For the second time.
Both of those in that bracket are different for us. That's a big one.
For the next one, this one was kind of difficult for me too. Mystique versus Thor.
Not difficult for me at all. I don't really care for the Mystique character. Thor, I absolutely love.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
So you picked Mystique.
I picked Thor. Don't even get me started.
I also picked Thor.
Yes, he's a far superior character in the world of comic books, and I will fight whoever says otherwise.
I would disagree on the front for... No, I wouldn't. I'm just kidding. Thor is amazing. I wasn't a huge fan of Thor before Chris Hemsworth, before
I agree.
the Marvel Cinematic Universe, to be honest. It's not that I wasn't a fan. I just didn't know that much about him. And that take on that character and how much it's changed from Thor 1, which I loved, but how much that character has changed all the way to Thor Ragnarok,
Yes.
which is one of the best Marvel movies of all time, is amazing. Chris Hemsworth has done a fantastic job, and they've all done a good job in allowing him to bring his humor to the character. So I love it. And I've been reading comics now since then.
Yeah.
And they're great.
Yes, they are.
And I read the comics for Thor. I mean, I read a lot. Incidentally, he's a character in all the comics. And I've
Right.
been
He's
reading,
all over the place.
He's
one of the oldest comic book characters, isn't he?
Yeah, probably.
Like,
well, I mean,
he's been around.
He's
a
been around for a
long
long time. But I remember reading a lot of Thor stuff back in the Civil War in the mid 2000s because I was collecting a lot at those times. It's a fun character, but Mystique I've always liked quite a bit as well. In the movies, particularly, I love Jennifer Lawrence.
She's fine.
And Rebecca
Romaine Stamos.
wasn't she?
Yeah,
Mystique.
she was in the beginning.
It's a good character. It's a nuanced character. It's an anti-hero.
Yes.
It's a good character.
It is a good character, and she does have a good story, and I understand, it's neat. It's fine. It's just nothing that caught my attention like Thor does.
Yeah, you're talking about a A-list
Right.
versus a B-list character.
C.
Not C.
You don't think C?
C, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's C.
Because she's more of a villain.
She is.
I mean, they've kind of transmuted her into a hero because they got Jennifer Lawrence to play her.
Right.
But for the most part, it's a villain. And
she's definitely a
isn't
villain.
she Nightcrawler's mom?
In the comic books, I think
Yeah,
so.
I
Yes.
think so.
Yeah, they don't do that in the movies.
Yeah, I don't know. So we both picked Thor.
We did. This is where we're going to diverge. Fantastic Four and Optimus Prime.
What did you pick?
I picked Optimus Prime.
I knew you were going to do that.
Yeah,
How could you?
because
How could you, Jerry? The first family of comics.
Yeah, you can pick them. That's fine. I've never been a big fan of Fantastic Four. I've never wanted to read a comic book. I started reading a comic book of theirs once, and I was like, this is boring. And I don't care for it. Incredibles is better than the Fantastic Four in my world. But I picked Optimus Prime because Optimus Prime always has this long monologue at the end of comic books, and animated shows and movies of why he needs to protect Earth, why humans are great, and he cuts to the core of me. And the man who does his voice is a national treasure. I love semis, and he's a semi.
Yeah.
I just everything about it when I was a kid spoke
He's a
to
cab
me.
over Pete with a reefer on and a Jimmy.
Hauling hogs. Yeah, he's awesome. I had recently I bought this really nice Optimus Prime action figure that has the trailer that turns into the like a little gun station, or a big gun station, and then you can take Optimus Prime off of it, and you can change him into Optimus Prime, or you can change him into just Prime, which was like the original leader of the Primes. He was like this big. I think it was called I think he was just called Prime, right?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know much about Transformers, to be
yeah,
honest.
so there was a different guy that they ended up just transforming him into, or he got like an upgrade, actually. He got upgraded. Him and Megatron had a falling out because they're like brothers. And that's how...
I know nothing.
You didn't know any about this?
I know nothing.
Oh, yeah. Lots of things happened in the old Transformers world.
I mean, I
a lot
watched
more backstory than you think.
I watched the old cartoon. I watched Beast Wars, where they
Beast
turned
Wars
into
was
like
good.
dinosaurs and animals. Love that.
And Optimus Prime was a gorilla, and that was my favorite.
There
Loved
was
the
a
gorillas.
raptor, too. I like the raptor.
Yeah, I just love Prime. When I was, like I said, when I was a kid, it just like spoke to me.
Yeah.
Original Optimus.
Well, I, on the other hand, Jerry, while you're doing that, I picked the Fantastic Four because I do like the Fantastic Four.
I know you do.
Always have. I've been reading the Fantastic Four since I was a child. I was a big fan of the Fantastic Four animated series in the 90s.
Oh, see, and I honestly didn't even know that they had.
It's on Disney Plus. And I even liked the movies from the mid 2000s. I never saw the new one because I just didn't want to be heartbroken. But I'm a big fan of all those characters. I love the comics. I love reading the comics. They all are such interesting and dynamic characters. Reed Richards is amazing. He's like the genius of the Marvel universe. They've kind of tried to make Tony Stark into that character, but in the reality of the world, it is Reed Richards. And he's also very nuanced in his perspective. He makes good and bad decisions all the time. They all do, in fact. So I just think it's interesting. When I was a kid, all I did was draw the Human Torch over and over and over
Really?
again on one of those light tracing tables.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Huge fan of Fantastic Four. Not a huge fan of Transformers.
Okay, that's fine.
So
I'm
that's
still
what I picked.
looking for this guy, and I can't find him. But
Well, we're
there's
going to
a-
have to move on because
I
we're
know.
on the air.
I think it's just called Prime, but I do think he has a different name. Okay, next one is so we weren't both different on that bracket, were we? You picked Thor, I picked Optimus Prime. I picked Thor and Optimus Prime. You picked Thor and
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four. Okay, next one is Venom and Ant-Man.
This was probably the most difficult one of the bracket for me. Venom is one of my favorite characters. Spider-Man is one of my favorite characters. That universe is one of my, if not my favorite comic book universe. Huge fan of Venom. And Ant-Man, I'm also a huge fan of. But I had to go with Ant-Man.
Yeah, so Venom is a crazy character.
Yeah.
You know, like it's an insane character.
Absolute insanity.
That is really fun to watch. I just don't, I'm not a Venom fan myself. I like Ant-Man a lot, and that's basically basing it off of the movies.
Yeah.
So I also haven't read much of Ant-Man, so I'm going to only base it off of the movies and say that's why I picked him.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't read a ton of Ant-Man. I've definitely read a lot more Venom than Ant-Man. I have read some Ant-Man though. He's always a fun character in in the Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's so fun.
I'm basing it off of the movies basically. I just love the Ant-Man movies. I love everything to do with what Paul Rudd's done with that character. And that's what I had to go with, even though Venom is like probably, one of the most popular comic book characters of all time.
Venom is, you think? Like the most popular of all time, you
I
think?
said one of the most.
You think he's the most popular comic book character of all time?
No, I didn't say that.
You are wrong.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
His
Good.
movie made a lot more money than Ant-Man's movies, though.
Did it? Yeah, it made like 800 million, didn't it?
Yeah, 800 or 900 million.
That's stupid. I don't agree with that.
You haven't seen it, so.
I know, and it didn't get very good reviews.
No,
a lot of
it's
people
not-
saw it.
It's
but
not
a
terrible,
lot
though.
of-
I was just listening back the other day.
Ant-Man got way better reviews than that. Nobody went and saw it. Stupid.
Oh, no, it made a lot of money, too.
I mean,
They all make a lot of money, Jerry.
so 400 or 500 million. Okay, if you think that's
on a
lot.
way smaller budget. Anyway, so our next one is Michonne from The Walking Dead
From The Walking Dead, yep.
versus Aquaman.
Aquaman.
The Man of Aqua.
Is that what they do? Is that
Yeah.
what they say? Next on the Hall of Justice,
Did they
the
make
Man of Aqua. Me, 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 me.
This one's really easy for me because
Ocean Team, assemble.
I really like Michonne and I don't care about Aquaman at all. So I picked Michonne.
You idiot. I did not pick Michonne.
I love The Walking Dead, and if you read the comics, you'd love Michonne.
Maybe, but I definitely like Aquaman better.
She leads around a team of zombies on chains as like guard dogs.
I know. I've seen that in the show.
Yeah.
It's so cool. He controls the ocean. He can talk to fish.
It's a lame character.
He had a love interest in dolphins.
It's lame.
It's
I
not.
like Namor, the Submariner, way more than Aquaman
Why?
because he's way cooler.
He's not cooler. Have you read any Aquaman?
No.
Neither have I really. Now
I've heard
I have.
I've heard there's some great comics of Aquaman. I really have.
Yes, there
I didn't
are.
care for the movie, to be honest. I know you liked it a lot, but
I did. I did like it a lot.
I just went with Walking Dead, so
Big hunk of man meat in that movie, huh?
it's true.
Yes, buddy.
All right.
Aquaman.
Next one.
But this is the last one.
Last,
Last one for round one.
Well, there's two more.
I know, last little bracket for
Okay.
round one.
All right, we got Storm versus Captain Reynolds from Firefly.
Oh my gosh. So this could be a difficult one if you really liked Storm. She's an incredible character. She got a lot of good backstory.
I would say she's probably one of the best comic book characters
Very, very good
in comic books.
altogether.
I'd say she's a top 10 character,
Really.
maybe top 20.
I agree with you. She is incredible.
One of the most important and best characters in comic books. She is one of the most powerful
She is.
heroes, superheroes, whatever you want to call it.
She did
She's-
not get her due in any of the movies.
No, she's one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe, bar none. She's probably top 5, one of the most powerful characters.
Who was she married to? Didn't she marry
Black
someone?
Panther.
That's right. She married Black Panther. Yes.
Um,
Isn't that cray?
and for a lot of you, probably don't know who Captain Malcolm Reynolds is. Mal
Mal.
from Firefly. Firefly is one of my top 5 favorite TV shows of all time.
Boy, you're just ranking everything today.
And he is one of my favorite characters in the world.
Yes.
And that made this very easy for me. I picked Captain Reynolds.
I also picked Captain Reynolds because that show just holds a special place in my heart.
Yeah, it's amazing. If you haven't seen Firefly, get off your ass and go see it Watch it right now.
Yeah,
However you need to
however you
digest
gotta
it.
get it.
And then go on. There's movies. There's a bunch of comic books. They're all really great.
Yes.
Nathan Fillion, who should have been, he should have been Indiana Jones, but he wasn't.
I agree with you. He should have been.
Now he's too old.
Yeah.
I do like his show, The Rookie.
I've never watched any of it.
I catch
silly.
it here and there.
Thought it looked silly.
But it's a good show. Anyway, that character, that's a tough matchup. I mean, they're both great characters.
Yeah, Nathan Fillion has become like a treasure because of this show.
I'm actually an honorary brown coat.
Are you really? They have like
They have an organization. Yeah.
No kidding. I remember you telling me.
It's like a fan organization, you know?
So this was around the exact same time that you were telling me about Doctor Who.
Yeah.
When you had the Super Bowl party, and you're like, you said you need to watch Firefly right now, and I guarantee you'll be a brown coat. And I didn't know what that meant, you know. And golly, are you right? It's such a great show. Morena Baccarin is in it. Who's the guy that plays Jane? He always reminds me of Baldwin, right?
Baldwin. Yeah.
He's a Baldwin.
No, he's not related to like the Baldwins.
No, but you know who he always reminded me of is the guy from Saving Private Ryan.
Maybe it was him.
No, it's not the same person.
Okay.
The guy in Saving Private Ryan that carried around the BAR, and he listened to that old music on the steps.
I don't remember.
All right, whatever. Well, yeah, Captain Reynolds, by far, even though Storm is one of the best comic book characters and she's awesome, Captain Reynolds is in my heart.
Yep, agreed. For our final matchup,
we have Buffy the Vampire Slayer versus Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun.
I mean, if this should be no surprise to me, Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 are two of my favorite movies of all time.
I
wouldn't have obviously said this before those movies. This is the only reason. It's only based on the movies. I have very little care in the world about them from the comics. They're in some good animated movies. That animated show is phenomenal on Disney XD, and I have watched that. So I went with Guardians of the Galaxy all day. Although I will say I'm a huge Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan.
This one I thought you were going to have a pretty hard time with because you are a huge Buffy fan.
Hard time. It gave me a few seconds pause just because I love Buffy.
What if
I love the Buffy comics. I love Angel. I love all of it.
What if you were absorbing the Buffy TV show for the first time and you had like just finished the whole series?
No.
And then you watched Guardians of the Galaxy. Would you still pick Guardians, you think?
First of all, I don't think the Buffy TV series would hold up.
No, I'm saying like it's your first time seeing this, regardless of time frame. Like I'm not talking about like it
Gotcha.
spanning well. I'm just saying like if at the time you were watching Buffy and you had just finished the whole show and then you had also seen Guardians around the same time, do you think you would still pick Guardians, or do you think you would pick Buffy because it's fresh and new in your mind?
I'd absolutely pick Guardians, and I think I'd be really confused because I'd be like, what is this leap of technology that has been taken?
Yes. Okay.
No, it's definitely Guardians of the Galaxy all the way, and basically just based on the movies.
Yes, I completely agree with you in every way. I wasn't as big of a Buffy fan. I liked the show. I did watch it. I've never read a comic book. I have read some Guardians comic books, and they didn't stand out to me as being any of the best. They're almost all the same.
There's a new run right now that's one of the best-selling titles of the year, and it's supposed to be really good.
So I started a new run of it last year. Maybe it's the same.
Probably.
Is it the same one? Maybe it is. I started that, and it was really interesting. I liked the take on it because I think they were like trapped in space, and they were all older, and Star-Lord was not like with them at the time, but then they picked him up and along the way. Anyway, it was interesting.
Yeah,
and I liked
talked about it on the podcast.
Yes, I did. I liked it. I never followed through with reading any more of it, but yeah, 100% because of the movies, I'm going to pick Guardians of the Galaxy. It's incredible. I still, to this day, will argue and say Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is better than 1. My pick
Yeah,
was Guardians of the
they're both
Galaxy.
very good and different. So that's it. If you want to recap of mine, I got Silver Surfer, Harry Potter, Rorschach, Wolverine, Moon Knight, Nightwing, Hellboy, Batman, Rick Grimes, Ghostbusters, Thor, Fantastic Four, Ant-Man, Michonne, Captain Reynolds, and Guardians of the Galaxy.
And mine is Shazam, Spawn, Rorschach, Wolverine, Moon Knight, Nightwing, and Hellboy, Batman, Adam, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Thor, Optimus Prime. Did I already say Ant-Man? No, I said Batman. Ant-Man and Aquaman. And then I've got Captain Reynolds and Guardians of the Galaxy.
So they diverged quite a bit.
Yeah, they did.
That's all you have. That's this week's. That's the end of the first round of Snarf Madness. We're gonna try and have a scoring update for you guys next week.
Yeah, next week we will come. We'll come on and do an update of round one. Who scored what? We'll probably just do the leaders.
Yeah.
You think? The leaders of round one, and then we'll get into our round two. And I think we'll do the entire round two all in one shot because it has the exact same amount of people in it as one of the round one.
I don't know, man. That's a lot. It's still a lot of people.
Well, it's the same as round one.
Okay. Yeah, we'll probably do that. We got some time left. Do you want to do some what we're watching?
Yes, I finished a series that I would like to talk about.
Oh, okay. What is it?
It is the I'm Not Okay With This.
Oh, you finished that.
I finally finished it. And
I kind of gave up on it. I was kind of getting a little bored.
I tell you what, the last 2 episodes really picked up a lot. Well, actually, I'd say the last 3. There's only 7 episodes in this show. I had seen the first 4 right off the bat, and I was not blown away by it at all. The last 3 picked up to where I wanted to watch the next one.
Okay.
And they're only 20 minutes long. They're 24 minutes long.
I thought they were an hour.
No, they're 22 minutes apiece.
Okay.
So it's very easy to get through.
I'll probably
this.
finish it tonight.
But the last 3 I thought were pretty fun. Now, this is not a show that is outstanding by any means. This is not a show that I'm going to, say is going to win any awards.
You're going to stake your reputation.
The original thought I had is that the main character was somewhat boring and off-putting. She gets better later on because you learn more about her, and you learn more about her dad, and you learn more about other people in her life, and it just gets better. And then you start to see her capabilities just a tad bit more, that I really like. And then they end it on something that makes you want to see the second season. Because I just got to know what happens in the second season. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, or you in particular. There's just some things that happened that I really liked. The last episode is by far the best one, because of the interactions of the characters and the events that take place. But leading up to that is amazing. I would say 6 and 7 by far the best episodes.
Interesting.
Yeah, really good. I would tell people to watch it because it is different than what you're seeing. I think it is kind of based around like a teen, like it's kind of a teen genre.
But kind of. It's got kind of
it's adult,
offbeat Scott Pilgrim vibe to it.
Yeah, it does. It does. It does have that kind of a vibe, but it's not as quirky.
No, definitely not. That's what I mean. It's like the emo cousin of Scott Pilgrim.
Right. I agree. Yeah,
it's definitely got a real emo vibe to it.
The first 2 episodes, for sure, I was like, this is not going to be good. And I kept watching it because it was so short.
Yeah.
But it ends on a very strong point.
Good.
I think.
Well, I'll finish it up then. I have been watching a new show too, as well, I should say. It's on Hulu. Oh. It's on FX, actually. But FX apparently and Hulu are...
like the same.
Yeah, because there's a whole category on Hulu just for FX.
Real quick, have you ever had the issue of getting it... because you're using a Fire Stick, right?
Correct, yeah.
So have you ever had the issue of logging into Hulu and it automatically starting to play a show?
No.
Because it was doing that. I was watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. This was a while ago. And I stopped one of the shows. I went back, and then I went home. And every time I get into Hulu, it would just automatically start playing that same exact show. And it does it every single time I get in there.
No, I haven't had that problem.
And it's so annoying because I've got to like back out of that show and then go back to my home screen to try to find anything again.
Yeah.
Really annoying. And I want it, Hulu, if you're listening to the podcast,
I'm sure they are.
change that.
No, I haven't even logged on to Hulu in like forever. And I got on there the other day. I could not sleep.
And it is worth it.
We recorded a podcast. I got home and I literally could not fall asleep. I did not fall asleep till 4:30 in the morning and then got up at 6.
What were you doing? Did you smoke crack? Like during the show that I was not aware of?
But it was really obnoxious.
Yeah.
So I went on Hulu because I couldn't find anything to watch. And I watched a bunch of Key and Peele.
I like them.
They're so good.
Are they making new shows? Are they still making new things?
No.
Because I feel like YouTube is throwing out
They're
Key and
both
Peele
way
stuff
too
all the
rich
time.
now.
I know they are. Especially
Keegan-Michael Key is in everything.
he really is.
He's in everything. And Jordan Peele obviously making
Is
like
making-
Get Out and
He's making some waves.
Us, whatever. Is that Us?
Yep.
But yeah, he's doing a lot of amazing stuff. But Keegan-Michael Key is in every movie and in every show that comes out. I don't know how
he's
that
an
guy-
extra. He's an extra in every single.
Yeah.
Or not even an extra. He's like a supporting.
supporting character. Anyway, so I popped that on and I started watching this show called Devs, and it's a FX show.
Devs. Is it similar to? Are they like developers?
Yeah. But it's a drama,
Oh,
like a
okay.
horror, like thriller kind of thing.
Oh,
And not horror. It's got a real creepy vibe to it. And it's starring Nick Offerman of local fame. from
Really?
Manuka, and some other people that you've probably seen before. But he is like a Steve Jobs type developer character.
yeah.
And the CEO of a gigantic tech company. And there's a young, promising coder that that's working for his company. And the very first episode, I won't give anything away, but the first episode, he gets basically hand selected to join the devs team, which is like a super secret, super elite team. Everybody wants to be a part of the devs team.
Yes.
So they bring him to, where the devs work, and things ensue from there. Anyway, it's great.
Is it really?
It is.
I gotta.
Super engaging and creepy, and I have no idea what's going on. You're
Yeah.
not gonna. It's just one of those shows. You don't know what the hell's going on. But it really does a very good job of creating an ambiance.
Yeah. Is it like suspenseful? Like, would you call it a thriller?
No, I mean, it's got an element of suspense to it. It's kind of creepy. It's kind of
Uncomfortable.
uncomfortable. Nick Offerman is so good in this. It is not a comedic role at all.
Yeah.
He is great.
Oh
And
man, I'm gonna have to watch this.
this is I don't know how many episodes are out. I've watched 2. I think there's 3 out right now. I'm a big fan. I would highly recommend everybody check out Devs. And it's on FX, I think, if you have cable, but it's on Hulu.
Okay.
So
I have Hulu. So is it a Hulu? It's an FX production. So they're
it's a Hulu show, or no, it's an FX show, but I think it might only be on Hulu.
okay.
I think it's like a FX produced Hulu exclusive, maybe.
Wow, that's.
But it could be on
Interesting.
FX too. I don't know. I never check FX on my DirecTV. I don't even log into DirecTV anymore. So
Yeah. You need to get rid of it.
I don't pay for it, so I'm not getting rid of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's not a problem then.
So that was a show I've been watching. I've been struggling lately because there's like I can't find anything to watch. I know there's like a bunch of stuff I want to watch, but I don't want to start it.
I'm always in that boat.
And there's nothing playing like on regular TV right now, so I'm just like in this lost.
And then a lot
world.
of times, I just start watching something that is mindless, like MasterChef.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of MasterChef on Hulu. I have watched a lot of that. I love that show, though.
Hulu is great, man.
It is.
It's really good.
I really like Hulu. But what I did, I started watching. I've only seen half of it, maybe just under half of it. And it's only got like a 6.2 rating on IMDb out of 10. But I started watching that new Mark Wahlberg movie, Spencer
It
Confidential.
looks like something I would not like.
Really?
I saw that. I watched the trailer last night.
I like Mark Wahlberg.
I do too.
And it's like if they have, they can
It's a
literally
movie though, right?
Yeah, it's an hour and 51 minutes. That's why I've only seen about half of it. But it's like they could yell from a casting call and say, "Hey, it's a police drama set in Boston." And then there's like Mark Wahlberg running out of the subway station because he's going to be in it, obviously.
Say hi to your mother.
Say hello to your mother for me. I thought it was. I think it's fun so far.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. Post Malone's in it.
I hate Post
You know
Malone.
a good old Post Malone song? Sing something.
I don't know a single song. I just can't stand
The main
dude.
song from Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, is that a...
I thought that was his song.
So, catch me up on this Post Malone character because, like, he wasn't an actual, like, musician or anything. He was just, like, a homeless dude.
No, he was never homeless, I don't think.
I think he was homeless. And somebody's like, hey, you got
Really?
something. And they brought him in, and basically, like, producers produced the music. And he's like a talk rapper, right? He doesn't actually rap.
No, he sings.
He sings, but not, like, well.
Yeah, he does. He sings actually pretty well.
Really?
I mean, it is heavily produced, but no, I mean, I've heard him sing on videos where it's just him, just his voice singing, and he's actually not terrible.
I don't like him.
By any
I don't
means.
like face tattoos.
Oh, I despise face tattoos.
I'm not a fan. Anyway, I
Yeah.
did see that he was in it.
So anyway, yeah, I enjoy it. I like Mark Wahlberg a lot. It's pretty funny, but I like the story. I mean, he's getting chased by people that
The only
want
really
him
things
dead.
I've ever liked Mark Wahlberg in were Transformers and The Happening.
So you like Transformers? Huh? Should have picked them.
I actually did like the Transformers movies, pretty much all of them.
They're great.
And Bumblebee too. That was pretty good.
Bumblebee Tuna.
Bumblebee 2.
Oh, okay. Your balls are
Also,
showing.
no, he was great in The Departed.
Oh my gosh, The Departed is like one of the best movies ever.
The Other Guys.
The Other Guys is basically this exact same movie.
Really?
No, he's not. He's not the same character, but and obviously there's no Will
I
Ferrell
got the
character,
gist
but
of
he
it.
gets
I mean, it's a punchy action
yeah,
movie.
and that's all it is. It's like a popcorn flick. Netflix is not good at making movies.
I don't know that I agree with that. I like that Will Smith with the fairies and the orcs.
That's the only one. Bright. It's the first one they made.
Yeah, that's a good
Ever
movie.
since then, did you see Triple Threat?
No.
Not good.
No.
I talked about it on here. Not good.
No. But I heard that Six Underground was really good.
Bird Box.
That is the worst freaking movie
What
I've ever
a
seen.
garbage can piece.
Why
of
do you have to
crap.
remind me of that movie?
That movie exists,
It
and it's
is
still on
the
Netflix.
worst movie ever.
Sandra Bullock.
Yeah. Sandra bullshit is what I like to say.
Sandra full of bullshit. Yeah, not good. And this movie is
Well,
not.
what about Six Underground? I heard that was good.
You know, I never saw that one. You know what does look good to me though too that I want to watch is King.
King. Oh, and we never saw Always Be My Maybe, but that was supposed to be good.
I gotta be on a date night for that though.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not on a date night. So that's all I've been watching. But I think that movie's going to be pretty good. I enjoy it so far. It's fun.
I just want to. There's one we're forgetting about. That is a Netflix movie. Anyway, I can't get it right now.
Okay.
There is one other thing I've watched. We've been going back and forth discussing this on our patreon.com/Snarf Comics page, which is exclusive to patrons, where you can have in-depth conversations with the likes of us. No, we don't promise that, but
No.
we do. We do end up communicating with a lot of people that way. And we also have bonus podcasts. I think you just released one, right? Is it out?
I haven't released it yet. I'll do it tomorrow.
It's coming out tomorrow or last week. Anyway, so we were talking earlier about Viggo Mortensen in the last episode or 2 episodes
Yes,
ago.
we were.
And one of our Patreon subscribers, Mr. Green in the conservatory, he mentioned a Viggo Mortensen movie that he really enjoyed called Captain Fantastic, which I do remember coming out years ago. It won an Oscar.
It did?
Yeah. And,
For what?
I think it won several Oscars. I think Viggo Mortensen won a Best Actor Oscar for it. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to check this movie out.
What's from 2016?
Yeah, it's relatively recent. Let me just say, it's a very different and interesting movie. It's an indie movie.
Yeah.
It has a real indie movie vibe to it.
Okay.
Viggo Mortensen, if he didn't win the Oscar for Best Actor, he should have.
He's an incredible actor.
The acting he does, and then all of the kids in the movie is incredible. And then, as Nolan mentioned too, the cinematography is really, really well done.
So here's a quick description of it. It says, an unconventional father is forced to leave his self-created paradise and bring his family into society for the first time.
Yeah, so I'll give you the gist. Viggo Mortensen is like a hardcore, what do you want to call it? Like I don't want to say liberal. He's like a Marxist, like really, really, really like left wing, like Marxist communist.
Yeah.
Like doesn't believe in the consumerism and the capitalism and the bullshit of America. So him and his wife and his children,
We're off the grid.
they drop out and they go out into the woods in Washington, and they're just living in the woods, separate from all of society, all of American society. And the wife is never in the movie. So from right in the beginning, she's not in it. And so it's him out.
Is she alive? Like,
Well, I mean, I'll tell you. So
okay.
He's out in the woods with these children, and he runs it like they do calisthenics in the morning. They hunt. The first opening scene is his son jumping out. They're all hunting, covered in mud, with just knives, and his son jumping out and slitting the throat of a deer. And then they have this whole like celebration.
wow.
Where his son has now become a man, and
Yeah.
he eats like the liver of the deer. And so they're like survivalists.
Okay.
But also like hardcore philosopher people. And they also schooled them out there, and these children are brilliant. In one part of the movie, they describe them as philosopher kings. So they know everything. They have this whole regiment, and every day they go on like, I don't remember what they call them, but like journeys. So all these, and the kids ranging from like 4 years old to 18, and there's like 5 or 6 of them, and they'll go free climbing, like rock climbing, not free climbing, they got ropes, but rock climbing and stuff like that. So you find out quickly in the movie that the mom's not there. You're not really sure why. They're living this weird, unconventional life. And then they find out, he goes to town because there's a phone is in town, and he calls his sister-in-law to ask how his wife's doing. You come to find out she's in a mental institution for like bipolar disorder, and you find out that she's killed herself.
Oh no.
So he's got to go back with the kids, and the whole real movie is them on a road trip across country to go to her funeral, which her funeral is put on by her parents, who hate him, hate everything that's gone on.
Yeah.
Hate their lifestyle. So it's kind of a road trip movie of them going across the country, dealing with, the parts of American society that they hate, and also the reality setting in that they're not prepared at all to live in this world. It is at times funny. It's at times extremely thought-provoking. It's extreme drama at times. It's affecting, and it's
really?
a real kind of a movie that I think could inspire a lot of conversation, and has, as we've been kind of going back and forth, me and Nolan kind of talking about it on Patreon. It's a really interesting movie. I wouldn't say that it was like anything that blew me away. The acting is incredible. The cinematography is incredible. I had a lot of problems with some of the story elements, which we've gone in depth. I wasn't a huge fan of the ending. So it's not a perfect movie by any means, but it's interesting. It's different, and it's, I think, worth checking out if you like indie movies at all.
It's got a 7.9 on IMDb, which I think is really good.
I think it was even like maybe nominated for Best Picture. But it was definitely a very interesting movie.
It sounds
Once
really
again,
incredible.
Viggo Mortensen likes to do full frontal nudity.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He does
That's
that
my
too
favorite.
in what's the Russian one? We talked about it a couple weeks ago. History of Violence. or the other one?
No, it's the other one.
Yeah.
Oh no, because
Yeah.
I can never think of things,
Yeah.
and that's the one.
Anyway, we're checking out. I thought it was interesting. I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad he mentioned it because I remember it coming out. I was one of those that I always kind of wanted to watch, and it just completely fell off my radar. And I'm glad I watched it. And it's it is a bit thought provoking. It's an interesting one to have a conversation about. I think if you watched it, we could have an interesting conversation about what his methods were in raising his
Yeah.
family and whether he was obviously right or
A
wrong.
lot of
or
people like this.
his mistakes that he made along the way. Yeah, 82% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
Yeah,
anyway, that's really the only things I've been watching is Devs and that movie.
yeah, that's all I had. Because I started watching Spencer Confidential, and then I'm not okay with this.
It's basically the exact opposite of Spencer Confidential in every way.
Oh yeah, I'm positive it is. That movie it's something. I'm gonna finish it, and I think it's fun. It just it's just a fun, meaningless movie.
Yeah. So I think that's it for this week.
Yeah, I think so.
uh,
We're gonna get into round 2 next week. We'll have a little bit more of what we're watching, maybe a little bit of news.
Yeah, we'll get back to some news. Hopefully the coronavirus is over and behind us by then.
Yes, I absolutely hope it's done with because I got crap to do.
It will not be.
I'm busy.
It will not be done with.
I've got a meeting all next week that is still going to happen. I thought they were going to cancel it, but it's still going to happen.
It'll probably be canceled.
Do you think there's any coronavirus up in the Quad Cities?
I don't know.
Rock Island?
My local bank has suspended all face-to-face meetings.
Really? Mm-hmm. Huh. Is that my bank?
No.
Oh, I was going to say. I didn't hear about that.
So anyway, if you are doing Snarf Madness, check in every week as we go through our top 10. And a reminder, there are all kinds of prizes that you will be getting. I haven't ordered the trophies yet. I should probably do that.
Yeah,
Because
we
they
should
might
do that.
take a little while to get done. Also,
I'm sending out stickers actually tomorrow. I stole some stickers out of here the other day.
Oh, perfect.
And I'm sending those out.
so if you're a Patreon subscriber, you're getting new stickers.
Yep, tomorrow.
They'll be here. They probably will already
Snail
have
mail.
been there.
Yep. Oh yeah, you would have already gotten them by the time this came out.
Also, by the time this come out, our Snarf lords and ladies.
Oh yeah, the Duchess and the King.
No,
He's not a king. He's a lord.
Lord.
There's a Duchess and a lord that is getting our Snarf.
They'll get a
bundle
bundle
of Snarf.
Bundle of Snarf. You should have received it by now.
Yeah.
And if you want to be a part of the Patreon family, go to patreon.com/snarfcomic and support the show. It can be as cheap as $1 a month. That's $12 a year. That's cheap entertainment, folks.
It's very cheap entertainment. How much money do you spend at a gas station? Because I spend a lot. And I think a lot of other people spend a lot of money at a gas station that you don't need.
Yeah.
But if you want to support a program that you enjoy and we want to continue to do, throw $1 our
Plus,
way.
you get stuff for it.
You get something for it. Absolutely. At the $5 limit, you're going to get a lot more than you are at the $1 limit.
Yeah.
At the $10 limit, you get more than what you do at the 5, and so on and so forth. But yeah, if you would like to support us, we would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, we got medical bills because in the past week we've both contracted coronavirus.
Yes, we have COVID-19, and we are dying. Please support our
Dying
families.
for your support.
All right.
All right, for Snarf Talk this week, I've been Chris.
I am Jerry.
See ya.